My name's Carolyn Leadley, and this is Rising Pheasant Farms. It's a for-profit business, agricultural business that we started in 2009, so we've just completed our 14th season. And we grow here on the east side of Detroit. We specialize in what you see, which is microgreens and shoots. So we've been selling those since 2009 at Eastern Market to local restaurants. But since our very beginning, we've definitely branched out a lot. So we grow a variety of other fruits and vegetables. We're kind of a family affair. So I'm the farm manager and owner of the business. And then my husband, Jack, does all the accounting, and he's the person you'd see at market. So he's definitely a more familiar face sometimes for the business. And then one thing that's particularly unique about our farm is that we're all bike-based. So we take everything to market by bike, and that all our deliveries and that is a big fundamental part of our sustainability, both economically, but obviously environmentally and socially as well. Every element of the farm is intended to work together, so it's definitely more of like a resilient, regenerative, like permaculture type farm is kind of our goal. So the manure from the rabbits goes on the garden as fertilizer. I mean, it's just really going back to the old way of people used to farm for millennia all over the world until industrial agriculture came in and replaced everything. Right. So we kind of view our lives and the farm is definitely a relearning process, relearning skills. Neither one of us grew up on farms, so it's definitely a relearning of how to work with nature, how to grow in a natural way beyond organic. Another element of our business has always been to live a very simple life so that we can continue to run our business. All our systems here at the farm, it's a continual process to figuring out what is the most sustainable. As I had mentioned before, it's always like, okay, do you move forward with technology as the savior, or do you step back into a simpler life? I think we try to balance those two, and usually opt for the latter. But solar seemed like it made sense simply because there was quite a few energy uses that the farm needed in particular, particularly a cooler, that was going to be awfully hard to figure out how to do in a simpler way. That energy supply was just necessary for those very basic purposes to run the business. Speaking with folks at Strawberry Solar, which is who we worked with, Diane Cheklich, and the folks there, they kind of let us know that DTE was going to be changing their rates last year, and so not giving people as much money for their solar creation, their energy creation. So that was kind of the push to like, okay, we need to jump on now. If we're going to do this seems like the right time. Certainly solar and just doing any kind of non-oil extractive type energy creation fits completely in line with what we do here at Rising Pheasant Farms. We also worked with D2 Solar, who pairs with Strawberry Solar to have affordable solar panels available. It was both the DTE rate change that kind of pushed us into gear, but also they had let us know about this Rural Energy for America grant that the federal government had going. As I said, is typically for rural businesses or agricultural businesses. So we were the first to apply as an urban farm and to receive a grant. So that was for about a quarter of the solar panel cost. So the fact that we were able to get that, the fact that the rate was changing, it seemed like a good time to make the decision. The total cost was about $18 $8,000, and a quarter of that came in from the grant. And then we ran like a GoFundMe-esque crowdsourcing fundraiser all last summer. So that raised probably, it was about $10,000 from that. So I attribute that mostly to, the decade of time that we put into our community as a business. I think being at the farmers market and building relationships, as opposed to just having all our stuff go to grocery stores or restaurants, we have a lot of dedicated customers and a CSA base that we're really excited to support us. We're excited that we could take our produce offerings, and not only is it bike delivered, that it's also solar, produced. And then obviously, personal business funds also supported the purchase.
This is all the power coming from the solar panels here. This box, which is just a disconnect, it's just a switch. This is what they had to put in when the city had a problem. So then the power goes from here to our house first, and then it comes up out of here through the meter and then back out. On the sales invoice, I think it said 5.94, which is like the max kilowatt output. I don't. Occasionally, it has ticked up to that. I think generally we reside in a 4.5 to 5 kilowatt peak use pattern. I would guess that maybe by February or March, that power coming in number is higher than the power going out number, and then March, April will start the time of year where we've just been through a period where we're using more, and we're about to enter a period where we produce more. You can get a sense if you follow it day to day, but generally it's hard to tell what the system's doing until you look at it. But that's okay, But even that is kind of, are you aware of CoolBots? It's like a well-known thing among growers where you use a regular air conditioner to build a DIY refrigerator. So even that is
certainly more efficient than
that's right, than a commercial refrigeration, for sure. I feel like this is our humble, like tiny little analog.
Work in the realm of food independence, food sovereignty. I feel like it's just another element of Detroiters being in control of their lives and having a say in their quality of life. Detroit is definitely a city that is used to taking care of itself and being resilient, and I feel like it is a place that solar or any other kind of system that helps with that resilience, it would be a great tool.
I think that people are very familiar with spending more money up front to save money down the road, so I think people are already ready to make decisions like that. And I think solar now is one of these things that's becoming mainstream that doesn't seem so crazy, I think people are primed to make that decision as soon as it's explained, how to make it.
And having more opportunities where the government, either the city government or federal government is supporting, especially low-income areas where you're putting them on apartment buildings or whatever, that it's a benefit to the landowner, landlord. It's also a benefit to all the tenants with reduced energy bills. Makes so much sense, but it's something that obviously it takes some amount of capital to do if you're doing it privately, but with folks working together in city government, it's something that would be very accessible to the whole city if it was a priority. For us as a business, it's also, everything's marketing, right? So it doesn't hurt to be able to market to our customers that this is an added way that we're a more sustainable farm, that you are supporting green energy by supporting us. So I feel like that's definitely something that businesses in Detroit could take a look at as a way to market to their customers, to kind of give themselves, stand out in a different way. But yeah, I mean, I think it has been a wonderful addition to our farm, and we're really hoping that, like with the other organizations that are working in the city that we've had the pleasure to work with, that it hopefully be more accessible and more available. And like you said, getting rid of the stigma that it's only for a certain kind of person or a certain kind of place, and that it can be a very universal tool for all of us to benefit from.
Yeah.